up, guys? It's Julia Van Speaker, and who we got on the show today?
What's going on, guys? I'm Anis. It's an honor to be here. I'm just excited for the conversation.
I'm excited to have you on because I stumbled across your music randomly, I believe through Apple. So I was making the switch from Tidal to Apple, and I'm like, they have the lossless sound and all these different things. And I'm a big sound person. And Tidal, you have to pay like the extra fees just to hear like the good stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to go where it's cheaper. But I happen to find you on Apple. So I fell in love with a lot of your content, what you're talking about, because it's to me, it's a breath of fresh air. It's not overpowering, oversaturated with the typical rapper, you know, I don't want to say nonsense because everybody has their niche or their craft, but yours is, I think it aligns with where I am right now in life. So that's why I'm like, we're kindred. Yeah, definitely. I'm like, dude, I'm really digging this, but let's start off before we get into your latest single that you just released a couple of days ago. How did you actually get started off in rapping, and when did you actually start rapping?
Oh man, probably 15 years ago. Wow. Like if we're taking it back to like the very beginning of just when I started learning how to express myself that way. I mean, I really only have been making music for 3 years. Actually less than 3 years, like almost, it'll be 3 years in January. But I just think in 15 years ago, I had this hand-me-down car from my uncle. It was like an E-Class Mercedes-Benz 92. The thing had like 250,000 miles on it. No AC, no heat. Yeah, it was a beautiful car. So I would sit with my friends, we'd do anything. And then one day, What the Hook Gonna Be came on. And whatever, my best friend Yusuf was in shotgun, and we were like, we're vibing to it because obviously that's a classic. And then next thing you know, like he starts trying to improvise, in the verses. So I'm like, all right, like if he could do it, I could do it. So I started freestyling, and then, I realized like, holy shit, like I know what I'm doing. Oh, wow. And at that age, like all teenage boys like to freestyle. They all think they're good at it, and most of them are garbage. Like 99%. But for some reason, like it clicked for me. It was just really like natural for me. And I've had a lot of time to think about it as to why I was naturally good at it. And it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. I grew up playing word games. I grew up playing Scrabble, Boggle, Smart Mouth, all these games that sort of just wired my brain to be good with like quick recall and words. But yeah, no, I would say it started then.
Wow, that's deep though. It's crazy. I believe Eminem said in an interview years ago that he reads a dictionary. Like that's how he was able to come up with being like a wordsmith or whatever. So I'm like, that's so crazy because most rappers don't do that. They don't really think to say, hey, let me expand my mind with my vocabulary and really be able to play on words and be able to do this for real. Yeah. So I love that. So let's talk about your latest single that you just dropped, Too Good to Be True. It's a little bit of a departure from what you've been doing. It's a little bit of a heartbreak, but you're not heartbroken. So let's talk about that.
Look, I think that it's so beautiful to be able to express emotions that you've felt, even if they're not your current emotion, right? Because as humans, like we don't stop remembering how those things felt. Right. We don't stop remembering how it felt to have your heart broken when you were 20 or go through grief when you lose a loved one, or, be thrilled by just like finding who you are as a human being. Like whenever we experience those things, they stay with us in our heart and our mind and our soul. And so I've never been a believer that you've got to write about like what you're feeling right now. It's easiest to do that. It's definitely easiest to write about what you're feeling right now, which is why I've had some success with those songs that, are more present for me. But yeah, I wanted to tap into that heartbroken place because it's powerful. And everyone knows heartbreak is known for like engineering some of the best music we've ever heard. So yeah.
Hey, listen, I can name a couple of projects that I love. I'm like, I like when you're heartbroken. Don't be happy because I hate your happy.
Yeah, some people don't want their favorite artist to find love, and I'm here for it.
I don't want to say who, but I feel like one artist is just so damn good when they're heartbroken. I'm like, yo, you make the best music. I hate your happy music, man.
I'm dead.
But so let's talk about your single previously before that, What Lovers Do. I actually really like that. I was bopping to that before you even jumped on. So how did you come up with the concept for that? And not just the song, but the visuals as well. Because I like you had like the little suit, not a full suit, but it reminded me of like a wedding. Like you just get
after party vibes.
Yes, there we go. Yes,
exactly. Yep. Yeah. That's what I was going for. I'm happy you picked up on that. So yeah, I mean, again, What Lovers Do, not really a song that is present for me right now. Cause like What Lovers Do is all about shoot your shot. Like, you know, make your move. You know, life is too short to sort of sit on the sideline. When you want something, you got to go get it. Like I got what I want. Like I'm happy now. Life is great. Like, but I remember the thrill of the chase. Right. And don't get it wrong. Like I'm married and I'm happily married and I love my life. But there is a very fondness that you always recall, which is the thrill of the chase. Like when those 3 dots on the phone, you know, cause you hypertension, when you're sitting there and you're, you know, and you're just wondering, like, did I say the right thing? You're overthinking everything and your heart's kind of like, I'm much more happy to be where I'm at now. But I remember those days with fondness because there was a thrill there and there was an uncertainty that made life so exciting. And so that's kind of what Lovers Do was me channeling back into that romantic angst of like, oh man, like I gotta shoot my shot. Otherwise I might regret this forever.
And I don't think you are regretting it. So there you go. You locked down.
No. You shoot your shot, you're going to score. Because even if it doesn't go through the hoop, like you shooting your shot, that is the bucket. Like that's how I feel. Like if you don't try, you've failed. If you try, you've succeeded.
That's true. Because I think I've shot my shot once and I'm like, hell no, I'm not shooting no more. I'll just wait for somebody else to shoot it. I'm not doing this.
You got to keep shooting.
Missed a few times. But the best thing that I like about you is that you're not afraid to talk about subject matters that don't necessarily, I feel like most people don't like actually talking about, because I feel like a lot of rappers are low key married and they don't want to talk about love because the subject of love is, I guess, so taboo in a way, which is so weird.
It's weird. It's very weird.
It's like, remember, like, I don't know, like if you've listened to like 1950s. So like I studied music in college. So like you have the opportunity to listen to like old school music and go through records and learn about all that stuff. That was the subject matter then. And now the subject matter is like, excuse me, like, you know what I mean? It gets crazy.
Yeah.
And after a while, it's exhausting.
I don't know why. You know, I guess I haven't studied the trends enough to know where certain messages became more prominent than others. But I do think a lot of people consider what sells when they make their music.
Right.
And to my detriment and to my benefit, I don't really consider that. So like probably I could be doing bigger numbers if I took a little bit more time to ask myself what's moving, what the industry wants, what's in demand. But also I do take like immense fulfillment in knowing that I'm never going to write about something that's not my life. Like I never have to play an act because for better or worse, like I am just writing my life. And so I could probably do better at finding ways to tell my life story in a way that would connect with people more commercially. And I am working on that. But yeah, no, I mean, look, when if you're in love, so a lot of people are married, but maybe not a lot of people are in love. I don't know. Right. But if you're married and you're in love, like that, and hopefully the way I look at it, you married your best friend. If that's how that worked out for you, which is how it worked out for me, it's just like the easiest story to tell. So I'm not even giving myself credit. Like, it's just easy. Like my inspiration comes to me easy because it's my daily life. And so it's like people, they want to, whenever people would ask me about my song Slip, because obviously like that popped more than all my other songs, I would just tell them the song wrote itself because it did. It's just the story of how my love story played out with my wife. And so, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, marriage is cool. Marriage is cool. And it's just like a 24/7 slumber party with ideally your best friend. And like, for me, nothing could be cooler. And there are a lot of artists that do tell that story that I have found inspiration from. And so I just hope I can be one of those artists, I guess.
And I like that you are one of those artists. It's not even like I hope, you definitely are. I enjoy it because
I'm glad to be one of those artists.
Yeah, you're awesome because you give me hope. Like single life sucks. Like who likes dating? And this day and age with the pool of people that are out there, it sucks. The options are not great at all. Like it's terrible. Like
I feel you. You know what? The grass is always greener though, because there are people who get married, and even if they're in love, they romanticize the days of, oh man, I miss that time when I was young and free and could do whatever I want, not have any commitments to anybody. I don't miss that. Yeah. But I do know that people, it's so easy to see the grass is always being greener, but you know, it's greenest where you water it. And so like,
that's true.
You know, even in that, there is something beautiful about being independent and single. But yeah, marriage is better.
I ain't gonna hold you. Marriage has to be better. Listen, I don't necessarily believe in zodiacs, but a lot of what it says about me, I'm a Cancer. Hell no, I'm ready to just get married, get into this. I'm not for this.
Do you know who you're compatible with? Do you know what's your sign that you're supposed to find?
I never really checked too much. I've seen
whatever. Don't look at it. Okay, don't look at it. Don't let it deter you.
Because that's another reason I don't want to get caught up on that. Well, maybe I should go for this and not.
It's got to be a Sagittarius. That no, just whoever you have good conversations with and you trust and you want to tell them things when they happen in your life and you want to be around them in the highs and the lows. And when you're around them, you feel like you don't need to be around other people. That's the person. Doesn't matter what their sign is.
I love this. And this is a great segue into me asking you about Drunk on Myself, because honestly, I really connected with that. Like, I'm totally like it's crazy because like I said, I'm on a particular, obviously we don't have the same life path. We have like little elements of the same thing where I think we could connect. Hopefully
intertwined.
Yes. Yeah, intertwining. Yeah. Listen, I'm like sitting here reading like one of these like self-help books or whatever.
Amazing. As we all should be.
Yeah, I'm telling you. That's why I was like, let's talk about Drunk on Myself. Let's talk about it. Because I love how you, first of all, as a man, it's such a stigma for men to really talk about their feelings and, you know, kind of affirm their love for themselves, and not in a cocky, arrogant way, but in a healing way. So let's talk about your journey on writing that particular record.
Yeah, I mean, that song was born of depression, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Because for me, a little backstory on myself, after college, I went to law school, and I went all the way through law school, became a lawyer. And that 3-year period of law school was depressing as I hated it. And looking back on it, I can understand now that probably the reason why I hated it is because in those 3 years, I lost track of who I was. Right. And when you lose who you are, you can't love yourself because you forget. I mean, what are you going to love? You don't even know who you start to forget the things about you that you love as you forget who you are. And so for me, right at the tail end of law school, when I started realizing like this, I'm not going to be a lawyer. I don't want to do that. But I hadn't yet built up the courage to be like, I'm going to be an artist. I just started writing lyrics in private. And that was one of the first songs I wrote, which was just like a story of like love to myself. It was like a self-love letter. You know, it's like all the things I loved about myself, which I talk about in the song. You know, like I'm charming, funny, and witty. I'm hardworking and gritty. I'm entertaining. I'm passionate. Like all these things about myself that I always knew were the things that were my hallmark qualities. So yeah, no, the practice of writing, everybody should write a self-love song. Even if it's just gonna, you know, stay in a notebook on your desk, like you should write those things, write out what you love about yourself, because that's the way to remember, you know, how special you are. That's the way to remember the things that God made you to be and God made you to do, in my belief set at least. And that's the things that those qualities about you are what are going to lead you to happiness. Like your best qualities, once you tap into those, it's game over. Like, because not everybody has the best qualities. Not everybody's funny. Not everybody's passionate. Not everybody's caring, or not everybody's like nurturing.
Right. I got you. Wait a minute.
You know, hopefully everybody can be caring, but like not everybody is, you know, introspective or whatever. Once you figure out what are my things, and you really harness those things and you let them play a role in your daily life, ideally through whatever job you're doing, if you're an adult, man, life just becomes so much better. So once I started writing those things, it kind of really cemented that path. I was like building my pathway into artistry with that song. And so, yeah, no, that was awesome. And you know, the craziest thing about that song is that it really shouldn't have popped on all commercial levels, but it hit 1 million streams today.
Wow. Today. Congratulations. Isn't that, that's wild. That is wild. Wow.
In like 4 months. Thank you.
Damn. That's incredible. Look at that. See, I knew I
tried my ass off to get it to pop on TikTok, but TikTok does not have any interest in self-love songs. So
I think it does, maybe because it's like somebody was saying to me, there's like different channels of TikToks, and I'm like, I don't know how I end up on like like I don't even like weird TikTok.
Yeah, no. There's wormholes. There's definitely wormholes.
Yes. It's like YouTube.
How about this? I don't think my song found its way into the self-love channel of TikTok.
Yeah, not yet.
So I think my song was swimming upstream, but hey, still 1 million streams in 4 months. That's crazy. So
I would, you know what would be awesome to see, like after today, to see it pop on TikTok. Let's put that out in the universe.
No, let's manifest that 100%. And plus, once a song hits 1 million, like trust that like big things come. Like Slip hit 1 million, and then once it hit 1 million, it was on the fast track to 2, and then I blink and it's at 3. So it's like, wow, that's definitely a thing. We will manifest that.
High five for that one.
Boom.
So you did mention that you were studying law. Are you still doing law now? Because I find that to be so intriguing. No, okay, stop. Oh wow. Because I'm like, he was a lawyer.
No. So basically, what happened is I studied, I finished, I graduated. I didn't have that good of grades. I was positive that I was going to fail the bar. I took the bar. I left the bar exam. Like I would have put $1 million on. I failed the out of it. But I think God intervened. I passed it, which is great because like that way nobody could talk me, but it was irrelevant because I still wasn't going to practice law. And so
listen.
So and trust me that like there are definitely people who probably wanted to see me fail that exam, but I didn't. And so
thank God.
But not. It made it a lot easier, if I'm being honest, to just be like, all right, let me close that chapter and do what makes my heart feel alive, which is create. And so, that's where I'm at now.
And you're natural at creating too, by the way.
I forgot that for a while.
You know what's crazy? It's shocking to hear that you started 15 years ago just out of, freestyling in a car. So that's what really is like, what? Like you would think that you came out the womb doing this.
Like, I think I did in other ways though, like word games. Like we would, my godmother would always come over. We would always play a game called Smart Mouth. The way Smart Mouth works. Have you ever played it?
I have never played Smart Mouth. I'm not gonna lie.
So it's like a little word game where like two letters pop out. So it could be like A and T, right? You slide the thing, 2 letters pop out, and the game is who can say the first word. It's got to be 5 letters or more that starts with A and ends with T. And I would beat the shit out of everybody in that game. Like I would just like A and T would just be one example. It could be W and R. It could be P and L. Didn't matter. Like I bodied people. Like that was my game. And then I would play Scrabble, Boggle, crossword puzzles, word searches. Literally any time I got to play a word game, Hangman, it didn't matter. Like I was in it. And so like it's just funny because like now that I look back on things, like I remember in first grade, like I was the one that was always the best in class at Hangman. When we would play Scrabble, I remember doing crossword puzzles, like the Washington Post crossword puzzles when I was like 10. When I was like 10, I couldn't get it all, but I remember like my aunts and my uncles being like, why is he so good at that? And now these memories are flooding back to me. Now these memories are flooding back like, oh, like in hindsight, obviously everything's 2020. It was clear I was meant to be doing this, but sometimes it takes a little bit of depression. Sometimes it takes a little bit of hell to figure out, like, sometimes you got to get to your low point to like really get some clarity and be like, all right, what do I actually want to do? What am I actually called to do? What am I actually meant to do? So yeah, in some ways I think I was doing it my whole life, but like consciously, like, only 3 years.
Only 3 years. It's funny though. I do like the way that you kind of speak about your belief. I mean, I grew up in church and stuff like that. I mean, I left the church. But it's interesting. It reminds me a little bit of what, I don't know if you're familiar with Andy Mineo.
Of course.
I love Andy Mineo. He was like,
I grew up listening to Lecrae. So like, I was
no way. Yes, dude. Too, I love them. I went to a concert of theirs. And I think by far their concert was, out of every concert I've ever been to, no secular concert could touch what they were doing there because they were wilding. They were wilding.
I love that.
Yo, I was like,
no, it's different. There's a different like energy when you're writing about something that's spiritual.
Definitely. And you remind me of what he does. Like he doesn't necessarily consider himself like a Christian rapper, he says, I'm a rapper just that happens to be Christian or have a belief or whatever.
100%,
like that.
100%.
So why is it important for you to describe yourself as that?
Because people want to box you in. They want to box you in, you know, like, and not just on my faith. Like there are so many different ways people have tried to box me in. Like the first thing is you're a rapper. It's like, no, I'm an artist. I happen to rap. And then it's like, oh, you're like an Arab rapper. It's like, hold up. No, first of all, I'm not just a rapper. And second of all, my race has nothing to do with what I'm doing right now. Like, obviously me being an Arab American has caused my life to play out in certain ways that have inspired me. And like, obviously my heritage and my ethnicity is something I'm extremely proud of, but it's not something I want to be categorized as an artist, you know? Because people, you know, once you're boxed, the problem is, you know, the box, there's sides, there's a bottom, and then there's a ceiling to that box, and you can't get above it. And I've seen that. I've seen artists that are Christian rappers, Arab rappers, Christian singers, whatever, and they exist in the parameters within which that category, you know, holds. And I never want to exist in that. I don't believe in boxes or labels or anything. You know, for me, music is music, and your inspiration is your inspiration. And that's why I call myself genreless. I don't even like to define myself as a rapper or as a singer or as a pop, R&B, hip hop, whatever. I'm genreless in my mind, because even if that causes people to like not really know how to find my music, whatever. I'd rather be outside the box and free than inside the box and constrained, even if that means I lose a little bit of traction. So yeah, no, for me, especially when it comes to faith, to get back to your original point, I don't want to preach to the choir. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of Christians out there, a lot of Muslims out there, a lot of people of faith out there that already believe in God. They already believe in you know, the power of faith, right? But there's so many people out here who grew up in a situation where, like, I was blessed, to be honest with you. I was so blessed. I grew up in the Orthodox Christian church, which for me was beautiful because it's the church, you know, from the beginning of the time, like from Christ's time. And so like, I was able to learn a very orthodox, by adjective this time, faith. Like, I was able to learn the dogma of like the church fathers, and like for me, like, that allowed me to learn spirituality outside the context of like America, because America will do some crazy shit to everything, whether it's food, culture, religion, whatever. Right. So I was able to learn like, you know, a little bit more of a traditional understanding of it, which, and don't get me wrong, I'm still very open-minded when it comes to like, I don't take anything without, you know, considering it myself, and without being a little bit, I'm a skeptic by nature. But just like learning the faith and the power it was able to like bring me in terms of healing, like in terms of you know, forgiveness, in terms of love, in terms of just like understanding life as existential as it can be. It's like so important to me. It's so important to me. And I see that there's a lot of people, both within my church and within every church. In all churches, there are people who learn from bad priests, who learn from corrupt, you know, churches that gave them this really, really bitter and sour taste of the church. And I can't blame those people, because why would they, you know, why would they stay in some churches are toxic environments. Right. But you know, that's why I never wanted to be a quote unquote Christian artist, because I know there's a lot of people, whether they're Christian or elsewise, that could really have their lives transformed with a relationship with God, in my belief. And so like, I don't ever want to turn people off to my music by being specific. Like, I don't want someone who's Buddhist or agnostic or atheist or whatever to like be like, oh, he's a Christian artist, I don't listen to him. Like, for me, my music is for you. It doesn't matter if you're Christian, it doesn't matter if you're Jewish, Muslim, like, it doesn't matter if you're not a believer. Like, my music is for you because we're humans. And to me, like, that, like, that's the most important thing. Like, it's in my belief set, it's one God and we're all one people. And like, for me to create barriers for other people to access my art would be, in my opinion, a failure on my end.
I definitely feel that. Definitely feel that. So who's been a good influence for you creating wise outside of the fact that this is obviously a natural gift of yours? I know you mentioned Lauryn Hill in the past.
I was just gonna say a very faithful artist. In fact, Lauryn Hill. I mean, Lauryn Hill is the definition of everything. She is just like the perfect example of literally everything we just spoke about. How to be a singer and a rapper, but not be defined as such. How to be a Christian artist or a believing artist or a artist of faith without other people feeling excluded from your art. So yeah, Lauryn Hill would be a great example. India.Arie would be another perfect example of that as well.
I like that.
Lecrae is another hard example. But if we're steering towards, these are the artists that like encouraged me in the sense that I could feel the spirituality in their music.
Yeah.
But even outside of that, like Immortal Technique is an artist that taught me to never not be yourself in your music. Never be fake in your artistry. He's very raw, and that as a kid just spoke to my heart because like so many of the things he was saying were things I felt that nobody else was saying. John Mayer is a great example. John Mayer, the way, yeah, me too.
I'm so surprised you said that. I was like, I love him.
Like he's literally my favorite like songwriter of all time because the way he writes is as if he's writing about my life.
Right.
And obviously he's not. He's writing about his life, which is very different than my life, but still found a way to write his songs in such a way that I felt he was stealing my diary. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
So it's like him, Jim Croce is another great example. There's so many good examples. Yeah, there's so many. I mean, we haven't even really dove that deep into like, but those are good examples. Those are good starting points.
So from there, like, who would you collaborate with? Because I have like a few people in mind I would throw you in to do some collabs with, but who would you personally collab with?
Right now, like out of those artists or out of any artist? Out
of any artist. Like if you had the opportunity to come up right now, who would you go with?
Ooh, there's so many. I would love to make a song with Dominic Fike.
Okay.
I would love to make he's dope as hell. Really he's dope as hell. And another good example of just like being able to do it all without having to label yourself as one thing. Just like he's very free and his sound is free. Him, Rex Orange County, I think is so sick.
Gotta check that one out.
Yeah, 100%. And then maybe Amine. Amine is just like, in my opinion, like pushing hip hop in such a beautiful direction. And just, I feel that even though we're not like, which is a good thing, we're not the same artist. I feel like there'd be a nice balance between like what we both bring. So yeah.
I like that. That's a good one. It's not like super mainstream, if you know what I mean. Like, people always go, I'll do Beyonce or I'll do Michael Jackson.
Hey, I'd love to make a song with Ed Sheeran.
Hey, you know what? I feel like you could do it because I feel like he's such a humble guy. And I've been watching a lot of his interviews lately, and you could feel like you can connect with him as a person.
I know we would vibe. So. And I also know that like there's some parallels that we share that will be cool when we do collaborate, I should say.
I like that a lot. So when are we getting a full project from you? Because you've been dropping a lot of singles. I'd like to see a full album actually.
Yeah, definitely. 20. Get a little angsty for it.
Yeah, I am. I know that you went through the throat.
Me too. Me too.
But I'd love to hear some more from you.
Thank you. No, that means a lot. And I'm excited that people are looking forward to an album. At the first part of my career, it was just like, let me get something on stream.
Right.
So to be at a point now where like people are anticipating not just like singles, but they're like, we want a cohesive body of work.
Right.
Like I take that as like the greatest compliment. And I would say 2022 for sure. I would say like I'm planning on touring in the spring. Now I might end up doing one of those things like old school music where I tour before the album's out, but that's okay with me because I got a ton of songs I still need to perform live for people that won't even be on the album. So yeah, okay. I mean, my goal would be like summer 2022.
Okay, perfect. So that's something we can look forward to. Hopefully we get a couple of good collabs on there, maybe some Ed Sheeran.
I was just about to say, like, the moment you said that, like, my brain started firing off on all like pistons, and I'm like, okay, like I said, summer 22, so now I got to make it happen. That's like 7 months from now. And then I thought about it, and I was like, I'm like, I got like, it's crazy. You know what's crazy is, and we were talking about Instagram before we got on this call. Instagram is a powerful, powerful, powerful place. And the amount of people I've connected with on Instagram is mind blowing. And I don't know that I'll be able to, I don't know that it's in the cards for me to make songs with all of them, but I do know that there's some people that I've connected with on Instagram. And now I'm thinking about, I'm like, you know what? I should shoot my shot.
Shoot your shot. You were just talking about this. Shoot your shot.
Shoot it.
So this is my favorite part of the show. It's called 5 Fast Facts. You've got to drop 5 gems, and you dropped some pretty good stuff already. So I need 5 more from you about yourself that your fans don't already know.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Hit me with it.
Go ahead. It's your time to just drop them.
There's not questions. I'm just dropping facts.
Yeah, we dropping facts.
Okay. Typically when I eat candy, I prefer the orange flavor in all types of candies.
Really? Okay, that's a good one.
I like Christmas music all year round. It doesn't have to be any other time of the year. It could be summer. It doesn't matter. Multicolored lights over white colored lights, in my opinion, just very, very 90s and very nostalgic. My favorite color in the world is that color right there, that baby blue in the sky. That shines, to me. And then I haven't had fast food in like 15 years.
Oh my God. God bless your heart, because Chick-fil-A is my weakness.
I'm literally looking at Chick-fil-A right now, and that's why I answered that
question. Now that's funny. That is funny.
But I should give you a caveat. Like I answered that question. That's really a lie, because I do eat In-N-Out when I go out to LA, and I eat Chipotle all the time, but I don't consider that fast food. Okay.
All right. You know what's better? I don't know if they have it down by you. Dos Toros. I feel like it's way better than Chipotle. It's more seasoned. I know they have them in, I know California. There's here in New York, only in the city. You have to like drive down to the city. No, one in Brooklyn. I feel
I'm going to be in New York City tomorrow, so maybe I'll try it.
Try it. I promise you'll love it way better than Chipotle. I promise.
I'm definitely down to try. I can't guarantee you that I will believe that, but I'll try it.
It's gonna change your life. I stopped eating Chipotle because of it.
Look, like I said, I'm an open-minded, open-hearted person. If Dos Toros steals my heart,
I think so.
It is what it is. And it is what it is.
Absolutely. Well, Anis, thank you so much for joining us today. I really, really appreciate you stopping by. This has been a great conversation. I can't wait for your album to come out with Ed Sheeran. So you already know.
I love that. Look at you slipping in that manifestation.
I got you, man. I'm all about it.
Listen, this conversation brought joy into my heart and made my day feel brighter. So thank you for having me. Thanks for asking questions that allowed me to open up a little bit. And I hope we run it back.
We definitely will. I'm Julia Vamps. This is Anis. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening.
Peace.
Thank you.